watching our confidence start to glow. Side by side, we learn the game. The Fluency Duo, that's the name.
I'm so sorry. I actually don't know. I didn't expect that question. I don't know.
Ouch. Did that sound familiar? If you've ever felt that cold sweat running down your back during a remote interview or a team meeting because you didn't have the answer, you aren't alone.
Oh, thank goodness. Because honestly, Alex, that was me yesterday. My brain just exited the building.
It happens to the best of us, Sam. Welcome back to the Fluency Duo, the podcast where we bridge the gap between learning English and working globally. I'm Alex.
And I'm Sam. We're here to help you move past the intermediate plateau and start communicating with the confidence of a global professional.
Today, we are tackling one of the biggest career killers for non-native speakers, the brain freeze.
Specifically, what happens when a recruiter or a client asks you a question that you simply do not have the answer to?
The why, the problem, and the shifts.
Most people think that being professional means having 100% of the answers 100% of the time. But in the world of high-stakes remote work, that's actually a myth.
Wait, really? Because I always feel like if I don't know the answer, they'll think my English is bad or that I'm not qualified for the job.
Exactly, that's the trap. But here's the 2026 reality. International companies aren't looking for walking encyclopedias. They are looking for problem solvers.
So it's not about what I know, but how I handle what I don't know? Precisely. In this episode, we're going to teach you how to turn a moment of I don't know into a moment of I'm an expert. We call it the professional pivot. The tease. What's coming up?
I love that. So what are we diving into today?
We've got a packed episode for you. First, we're breaking down the 3 power phrases that will buy you 10 seconds of thinking time without sounding like you've lost your mind.
I need those. I need those today.
We'll get to them. Then, we'll look at the honesty plus action formula. This is how you admit you don't know something while actually making the recruiter trust you more.
And of course, they'll do our signature cringe versus pro role play so you can hear the difference between a panicked answer and a polished one.
If you're ready to stop fearing the difficult question and start commanding the room, even when you're confused, stay tuned.
Let's get into the professional pivot. Segment 1. The 3 time buyer phrases.
All right, Sam, let's get practical. You're in a Zoom call. The CEO asks you for a specific marketing metric from 3 months ago. Your mind is a total blank. What is your first instinct?
Honestly, my first instinct is to say, and then stare at my webcam like a deer in headlights.
Exactly. And that is what makes you feel like you're failing. But here is the secret. Professionalism is about controlling the silence. You need a phrase that fills the gap while your brain reboots.
Okay, give me the first one. I'm ready to take notes.
Phrase number 1. That's a great question. Let me make sure I'm looking at this from the right angle.
The right angle. I like that. It sounds like I'm being careful, not confused.
Precisely. You aren't lost, you are analyzing. Phrase number 2 is for when you need to check your notes. I want to give you the most accurate data on that, so let me take a quick second to pull up my notes.
Oh, that's smooth. It shows I care about being accurate.
Exactly. And phrase number 3 is the clarifier. If you don't know the answer, ask a question back. That's a multi-layered topic. To make sure I address your specific concern, are you more interested in the X or the Y?
Wow, by the time they answer my question, I've had 20 seconds to actually think of the real answer. Segment 2. The honesty plus action formula.
But Sam, let's be real. Sometimes you just genuinely do not know. No amount of buying time will help if the information isn't in your head.
That's my biggest fear. If I admit I don't know, isn't that the end of the interview?
In 2026, the answer is no. In fact, lying or faking it is much worse. Recruiters can smell a fake answer through the screen. Instead, use the honesty plus action formula.
Okay, how does it work?
It's two parts. Part one, the honest admission. For example, I don't have that specific figure in front of me right now. Part two, the proactive solution. For example, however, I can verify that with the team and have an email in your inbox by 5 p.m. today.
So I'm not saying I don't know, I'm saying I don't have it now, but I will get it for you.
Exactly. It shows you are reliable. In remote work, being reliable is more valuable than being a genius. Segment 3, the cringe versus pro roleplay.
All right, let's put these to the test. I'll be the nervous candidate, and you be the tough recruiter.
You got it. So, Sam, looking at your SEO strategy, can you tell me exactly how the latest Google algorithm update affected the bounce rate for our B2B healthcare clients in Q1?
The bounce rate? It was okay. I think it went down. I don't really remember the Q1 report. Sorry. I'm bad at math.
Ouch. You apologized, you insulted yourself by saying you're bad at math, and you guessed. That's a triple fail. Ready for the pro version?
Let's try again. Ask me the same question.
Sam, give me the Q1 bounce rate stats for the healthcare clients.
That's a great question, Alex. I want to give you the most accurate breakdown of that shift, so I don't want to quote a number from memory. However, I have the full analytics dashboard open. Let me pull that specific segment for you right now. Or I can send you a detailed breakdown of the bounce rate versus conversion rate immediately after this call. Which would you prefer?
Boom. See the difference? You sounded like a manager, not a student.
I actually felt more powerful saying, "I'll get it for you," than trying to guess.
And that's the professional pivot. It's about keeping your status high even when your information is low.
If you're listening and you want a cheat sheet of these phrases to stick on your monitor during your next Zoom call, check the link in our show notes.
Next time on the Fluency Duo, we're talking about small talk for introverts, how to handle those first 5 minutes of a meeting without feeling awkward.
Until then, keep practicing, keep pushing, and stay global.
The 2026 remote reality, why pivoting is a superpower. The shift, AI versus the human pivot.
Wow, Alex, that roleplay really showed me that it's not about having a perfect brain, it's about having a perfect process. But I have to ask, in 2026, with AI being able to answer almost anything instantly, why do recruiters still care if I know the answer?
That is a brilliant question, Sam. And it's actually the reason why this professional pivot is more important now than it was 5 years ago.
Really? Why?
Because in the modern remote market, especially if you're targeting roles in the US or Europe, information is cheap, but trust is expensive.
Trust is expensive. I like that. Explain.
Look, anyone can ask an AI for a data point, but an AI can't build a relationship. When a recruiter asks you a tough question, they aren't testing your memory. They're testing your transparency. If you try to fake it, they see it instantly. And in a remote environment where they can't see you in person, if they stop trusting your word, the interview is over.
The market. What global companies are hiring for?
So you're saying that admitting I don't know something, as long as I do it the pro way, actually makes them trust me more?
Exactly. We're seeing a massive shift in the B2B and SaaS markets right now. Companies are moving away from hiring experts who know everything and toward agile professionals who can find anything.
That makes me feel so much better. As a non-native speaker, I always felt like I had to be 200% better than a native speaker just to stay equal.
It's a common trap, but look at the remote landscape in 2026. You've got teams spread across Bangkok, Berlin, and New York. Communication is often asynchronous, meaning through Slack or email. If you are the person who says, "I'll verify that and get back to you," you are seen as a safe pair of hands. You are the person who doesn't make expensive mistakes based on guesses.
That's a huge aha moment. So my English doesn't have to be perfect. My reliability has to be perfect.
The cultural bridge, working for the West from the East.
Precisely. And let's talk about the cultural side of this. For many of our listeners in Southeast Asia or South America, there's often a cultural fear of losing face by saying you don't know something.
Oh, 100%. In many cultures, saying I don't know feels like a failure. It feels disrespectful to the person asking.
Right. But in a US or European startup culture, over-communication is the gold standard. They value the pivot because it shows you're a straight shooter. They'd rather you say, I'm not 100% sure on that specific detail, let me double check, than have you say, yes, yes, I know, and then deliver the wrong work later.
So, by using these phrases, we aren't just improving our English, we're actually culturally translating ourselves for a global audience.
Spot on. You're showing them that you get how global business works. You're showing them that you can handle the pressure of a high-stakes remote role.
The final takeaway, confidence is a choice.
This has been such a relief to hear, Alex. I think I'm going to stop apologizing for my brain freezes and start embracing the pivot.
That's the spirit. Remember, confidence isn't the absence of doubt, it's the presence of a plan. If you have the plan, the honesty plus action formula, you never have to be afraid of a question again.
I love that. Confidence is the presence of a plan. I'm putting that on a sticky note on my monitor right now.
Make sure it's next to your power phrases cheat sheet.
Deal.
This has been a deep one. If you found this discussion about the 2026 job market helpful, make sure to subscribe to the Fluency Duo on YouTube.
And don't forget to join our community. Tell us in the comments, what was the hardest question you ever got in an interview? How did you handle it?
We'll see you in the next episode, where we tackle small talks for introverts. Until then, keep pushing, stay curious, and stay global.
Bye-bye.
Ooh, yeah. Finding the rhythm in the flow, planting new words so they can grow. Every sentence soft and slow, watching our confidence start to glow. Side by side we learn the game.